All right, I'm here outside the NovaCare Complex with Eliot Shorr-Parks, 94 WIP. Eagles-Packers, Monday night, but before we get there, it is a big one. We got some new players that we have to talk about. Jaylen Phillips, Michael Carter, Jaire Alexander, all new Philadelphia Eagles, all brought in to help fortify the defense. Do you think they've done that? And what grade would you give the trades by Howie Roseman?
Yeah, so I think you have to almost view these as two separate groups of trades.
Okay.
The Jaylen Phillips trade, that's a big-time trade. He's arguably been a top 15 edge rusher this year. If you look at the advanced stats in terms of pressures, in terms of his pass rush win rate, there is not many edges in the league that have been better than him this year. So from that perspective, I think you have to give that grade a high mark. Sure. In terms of the other two, Jaire Alexander and Michael Carter, we'll see. I think those are shots in the dark. They are hoping that they can make good on the potential they've shown in their career, especially Jaire Alexander, who's had trouble staying healthy. But, you know, I can give the Jaylen Phillips grade an A now. You can give the Jaire Alexander trade really whatever you want. The reality is we'll get the final grades when we know how this season ends. Because if these players help them win a Super Bowl like Ronald Darby did, like Jay Ajayi did, then you will know that the trades are worth it. So we'll find out later in the year if the assets they gave up were worth it or not.
Let's start with Jaylen Phillips because he is the biggest piece at the trade deadline. He'll play the most sizable role. He's already probably their best edge rusher.
Yeah.
What do you like about him, and what maybe worries you a little bit?
So I like two things about him in terms of his ability to help this season. His connection to Vic Fangio, I think, is absolutely huge. You look at past trade deadlines, they've had a lot of trouble bringing guys in and having them make an impact right away. In fact, they've pretty much never done it besides Jay Ajayi, and that was almost 10 years ago. So I like the fact that Vic has a history with him. I also like that they've had a chance to watch him practice up close. In 2023, they had joint practices with the Miami Dolphins, and that year they got to see Jaylen Phillips practice. They got to work with them those few days. I think there's less variables with him in terms of him coming in and being able to be an impact player. So I like his pass rush stats. I like the fact that they have a connection to him, and I like that he's been playing really well this year.
Sure.
So I think he can come in and make a big-time impact. In terms of the worry would obviously be the health. He has had trouble staying on the field. He's had serious leg injuries in his career. So they got to, cross their fingers he stays healthy. But if he does, it is a big-time acquisition.
And he's young enough, 26 years old, that this could be a long-term relationship with the Eagles. Michael Carter, everyone, you talked about the Eagles needing to get a cornerback too. Obviously, Quinyon Mitchell on the outside is one of the best in the game. He's a slot guy, Michael Carter. He's not an outside corner, so they don't really get what they need, but does that change things for the secondary? Does that mean Cooper DeJean moves outside?
I don't think they're going to move Cooper to the outside. And I also think that, look, they need an outside corner, but they have a number 2 corner. The number 1, number 2 receivers on other teams, they line up in the slot. I mean, think how many big plays we saw Cooper make last year and even this year. We saw him up against Justin Jefferson in the red zone. Last year we saw him against Jamar Chase on a 4th down. So Cooper is going to play a big role in helping against these elite receivers. The question will be, is that other corner going to be one teams can isolate and pick on? They just need someone to be average at that spot, whether that's Keeley, whether that's Adoree Jackson, or if it's Jaire Alexander. Jaire Alexander has had trouble staying healthy, much like Jaylen Phillips, but also like Phillips, when he's been healthy, he's played at a high level. If you look at last year when he was on the field, he was one of the better corners in the league. If you look at 2023, he was one of the best corners in the league. So again, that's the question here. Howie likes to take chances on guys that have had injury history because you can get them at a low value and a potentially high return, and that's what Jaire Alexander is.
Yeah, it's a dart throw, but he's a guy who, as you said, he's been a Pro Bowler many times in his career when he was with the Packers, but it is alarming. Only 55 snaps with the Ravens this year, and that has been a very poor defense, so we'll see if he's got anything left in the tank. Brandon Graham's coming back. We talked about him a little bit a couple of weeks ago before the bye. It looks like he'll be ready to go this week. What are you expecting from him? 10, 15 snaps a game?
Yeah, I think that's hope. That's the hope of what they can get. If you look at their edge position now, it's actually kind of deep all of a sudden. Jaylen Phillips going to be their number 1 edge. Nolan Smith, I think, will be their number 2. We'll see when he's able to return, probably against the Packers, but maybe it takes him a week or 2 to get back to his full snap count. Jalex Hunt has been playing at a high level these past few weeks, so I think those are going to be your top 3. And then you have Josh Uche and Jahad Campbell, the first-round pick that is now kind of being played off the field by Nakobe Dean, and they got to find a role for him. So I think 10 or 15 snaps for Brandon Graham would be a really good output. And I also think, we listened to Nick Sirianni today. He talked about the effort Brandon will bring, the energy Brandon will bring. I think that's what they're hoping he brings. If he has to play 30 snaps for him, that's probably not ideal. So they're more thinking 10 snaps, high energy, good sideline guy, and hopefully these other edges play to their potential.
The hope is that we see him at Lambeau Field as the Eagles take on the Packers. It dominated the conversation in the offseason. All we heard about for months and months was the tush push.
Yes.
We've been hearing about it during the season as well. There are false starts that we're seeing in slow motion, whatever you want to talk about. Is this something you think these guys care about going into this game?
Absolutely. I mean, are you kidding me? There's no shot they don't care. They might tell us they don't care. They'll act like they don't care. Everyone watch Monday night. When they run the tush push, and they do it successfully, because that's what they do, there will be reaction afterwards. When they win on Monday, because that's also what they do. I think you'll see them talk about it in the post-game locker room, in the post-game press conferences. They created that play. They invented it. They run it to perfection, and the Packers tried to take it away. You know Nick. I know Nick. There is no shot he is not super amped up about running it against them to success. So, yeah, it'll definitely be something on Monday night.
I hope they run it 20 times.
They should run it the first play of the game. Run it the first play of the game. Just let the Packers know that they didn't take it from them.
One guy who has been outspoken about the tush push is newest Packer Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
He's a really good player. The Eagles are going to have to deal with him, but they've dealt with him before when he was a member of the Cowboys. But how much does he change the dynamic of what the Packers do defensively?
I mean, he definitely changes it. He is the best edge rusher in the NFL. He creates pressure consistently, and he's had good games against the Eagles. If you look at his history, I believe he has 5 sacks in 8 games, a bunch of quarterback hits, so he's going to get his. The question is just making the offense work around him, and that is one thing that Jeff Stoutland has been good at. He has had different plans at different points in the game so they can kind of negate Micah Parsons' pressure, and I think the offensive line's in good shape. We'll see if Cam Jurgens plays out there. Brett Toth had a good last game, but Landon Dickerson's been way better. The tackles have been way better recently. They're coming off of their probably 2 best pass blocking performances of the season. So the good news is they're familiar with Micah. They've gone against him. They know his strengths. They know his weaknesses. Jeff Stoutland's a Hall of Fame offensive line coach for a reason. I think you got to give the Eagles offensive line the edge against Micah.
9 games left in the season for the Philadelphia Eagles. They are 6-2. This is a big one on Monday night. Make no mistake about it. No matter what happened with the Packers last week against the Panthers, a complete letdown for them. But 9 games left in the season. What are you expecting here in the second half?
I think they're going to win almost all their games and probably go back to the Super Bowl. Like, let's just be honest. I know that sounds crazy, but that's what we see this team do. In 2022, they got better as the season went on. They went to the Super Bowl. 2021, they did it. Last year, they didn't lose a single game after the bye week and dominated. So will they win every game? Of course, they're not going to win every game. But this is what a Nick Sirianni football team does. When he has time to prepare, we see them improve. It was really only 2023, which obviously didn't go great, where they collapsed. But outside of that, yeah, I think they're going to beat the Packers. They'll probably beat the Lions. They're probably going to win like 80% of their games. And I think me and you are going to be in San Francisco doing this. That's just what this team is right now.
Let's go to the Bay Area.
Yes.
Before that, though, last one. You've been to Green Bay before.
I have.
What do you think of Lambeau Field?
It's amazing the first time you go. Yeah, I mean, it is certainly.
It's going to be cold there, too.
It is, yeah, it might snow. It's going to be in the 20s, so it'll definitely be a weather shock for these players. That's why all games should be played inside in a dome, by the way, if we want to get down that path.
This guy.
But Green Bay is really cool. It's a bucket list item. It's everything you think. You look at the stadium this way, then there's row homes behind you that way. I can see why players probably don't want to play their whole career there. But to go one time, yeah, it's absolutely really cool. And I expect to see a lot of Eagles fans there. They travel well, and it's a destination for a football reason, not so much, I would say, for a vacation reason.
I was about to say that's a hot take, but not really. I think you're spot on with that. Eliot Shorr-Parks from 94 WIP. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
No problem.